Okay, go.
Okay, can you please introduce yourself to the voters watching at home?
I'll be happy to. My name is Mary FitzGerald Ozog, and I first of all believe that government can and should help people. And I've always believed that, and I've been active in government since I studied political science at the University of Michigan. I went to Washington, and I was an intern in Congress, which was really exciting. I was born in Detroit, and after the University of Michigan, I went straight to graduate school at the University of Illinois, and I studied urban planning. And I got interested in public transportation. So after that, I went to work for the CTA and for Metra. And a fun fact is that when I was at the CTA, they taught us how to ride a bus because they said if you were doing planning for passengers, you should know how the buses operate. So I actually drove a bus in service, and I drove an L car. So that was pretty cool. My mother was an immigrant. She came here from Ireland. I'm the first to graduate from college in my family. Then I got married, moved to Glen Ellen. I've raised 4 kids. I have a new dog, which has been very stressful the last 5 weeks. And I've always been involved in our community and with my kids' school. They're all finished now, and they went to Glenbard West. And that wraps it up. I ran for the school board, and I'll talk about those things in the next question.
So how have you been involved in your community? You're in your community this far, and then how have these experiences prepared you for serving on the county board?
Well, as I said, I was involved in urban planning, Metra, and the CTA. So when I moved out here, I was working for Metra, and I bought a house right next to the Metra line. So I'm into going downtown and being part of the community. So as soon as we moved here, I applied for and was appointed to the Village of Glen Ellen's Architectural Review Commission. I did that for 6 years. Then I ended up having 4 kids and was extremely active in all of their activities, as you can imagine. Too many to count. In 2006, I applied for and was appointed to the Glen Ellen Zoning Board, which was really a great experience for me because having an urban planning background, I knew a lot about zoning. So it was really interesting to deal with issues that homeowners had where they needed variances to build what they wanted to do to their homes. In 2011, my kids were still in high school, and I've had issues with financial issues with our high school district and curriculum issues. So I decided to run for the school board, and I was successful. So I became a member of the school board for Glenbard High Schools in 2011. Did many very cool things, especially adding on to all of the high schools and bringing the high schools, as we said, into the 21st century because a lot of the systems were old and they needed a lot of renovation. Glenbard West is almost 100 years old. And one of the important things for a public official to do is to keep up with maintaining our facilities. So that was a really important part of our job there. And we also had a budget that was in very good shape, and that's really important to me. I've also, my urban planning background, so I've been just very active always. And so being in office is really very rewarding because we get to make decisions that impact everybody's lives. And so that's what my background is, and I use it all the time.
Perfect. Yeah, no, it's really good.
Okay.
What would you say is one challenge most important to you that the county faces, and then how would you plan to address it?
Okay. Obviously, I was elected in 2018. We got through 2019, and at the beginning of 2020, as you people all well know, we were struck by the COVID epidemic, and we Zoomed for 8 months, and I can't even imagine how going to school was for all of you. It'll be always something you'll never forget, and I won't forget it either because we were really challenged with a lot of responsibility. There were 2 federal programs that brought a lot of money into both the states and local communities to help people deal with COVID. So we distributed one set of funds then. We're currently in the middle of distributing a longer term set of funds. $178 million came to DuPage County alone. And we've used that money to do helping businesses, giving businesses loans that they didn't have to pay back. I guess that's really a grant. And so we were able to do that and help people stay in business throughout just such an impactful time. We were able to obviously fund the health department, so our health department was able to first do testing, and then thankfully when the vaccine came around, we were able to really get the vaccine out there, public information, and helping communities recover. So we've done a great deal of good work with this money. So that's been a really important part of the job. But we've also got a lot of infrastructure we're in charge of. I'm currently the head of the Public Works Committee, and Public Works has a budget of $47 million every year, and that takes care of roads. There's about 200,000 residents. The county has 1 million people. About 200,000 residents receive their water and their sewage treatment through the county. Roads, we have a great deal of community services that are offered, so we do a lot, and so making sure that those things are done on a regular basis and on time and on budget is really important. So that's what we're facing right now. I think recovering from COVID is the short answer. So, okay.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Just what are a couple of your long-term goals for serving on the county board, and then I guess just we go over like how you will accomplish them.
Okay. Well, one thing I would like to continue doing is being the chairman of this Public Works Committee. It's very rewarding. We have fantastic staff. They're in the middle of a 20-year plan, and with planning, and that's why it's called urban planning. You need plans so that you know how you're going to spend the taxpayers' money wisely and responsibly. So when you do that and you keep things under budget, or in budget, then you don't have to raise taxes, and everybody pays taxes. Your parents' property taxes, if you rent a home, the owner of the building pays property taxes, but all of you pay taxes too. Every time you buy something, there's a tax attached to that, and some of that money goes to DuPage County. The majority of the property tax money goes to the schools, but we do receive about 3% of a taxpayer's a homeowner's bill or a property owner's bill. So it's really critical. We do pay high taxes in this area, but I think we also have really great services, great schools, good roads, and that's the primary thing that I would want to continue doing. And also, I really enjoy serving our constituents. Right now, I'm trying to help a woman who gets water in her basement, and she wants to hook up to a pipeline, and there's another government entity that's refusing to do that. So I'm going to keep pushing on that. We've been working on that for about 2 or 3 months. I've helped people get floodplain maps when their property is worrying about water. Water and homeowners is a pretty big issue. So, but also people just have concerns and need to know where can they go to get help in various issues. So when I'm contacted, that's a really rewarding thing to do too. So there's plenty to do.
Yeah, no, was there just anything else you'd like to cover before we end that you just didn't feel like you had a chance to say? Anything you want to end with?
Well, one of the cool things when I was on the school board, I would speak at graduations.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have 2 things that I would say at the end of graduations. And the first one was, be kind, be kind, be kind. Even when you're in a conflict, try to be always kind and respectful. And the last time I gave a speech, I ended it with, always, always vote. And you're all going to be able to register to vote. I don't know about this year, but when you can, register to vote, and always vote. Not just for presidential elections, vote for your local elections especially, because the local government is what really impacts your life. Especially look at your school. There were school boards that allocated the funds to build this beautiful building, and it's that kind of responsible use of taxpayer money that gives us all a better community.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else?
That was it. That was good.
Okay. And